Do I have a motion? So moved. Moved by Dave. Second? Second by Ashley. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry. Julie, we're gonna need a roll call vote.
Mark Schroeder,
Yes.
Dave Cowan,
Yes.
Tom Gustafson,
Yes.
Ashley Goodman.
Yes.
David Marty,
Yes.
Melissa Barr.
Yes.
The agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is principal's report. Principal DeCoster.
We'll come over to where our podium usually is. It's under repair right now, so we're gonna wing it a little bit. Welcome, board, to Big Fork. Thanks for being here today. Just a few tidbits about what's going on around Big Fork School. We ended our semester, first semester last week. Today was our first day of second semester. Our elementary teachers and our special ed teachers have been very busy working on carry-out training, which is a course through the University of Minnesota. We finished module 4 on Friday, so we're about halfway through that. Our elementary teachers, as well as Mr. King in the high school as our primary English teacher, are also implementing a new English language arts curriculum called Wit and Wisdom, and they've been very busy with that. Got the opportunity to we did some walkthroughs. We've done them in Cohasset, but we did them here last Thursday. Mr. Martinson, Dr. Siegley, and Carol Kopp were up, and we did those together. Just looking at how that ELA curriculum is being implemented and looking at that continuity and the fidelity of it. And, I have to say, as the principal and part of the Big Fork team, I was just really proud of our Big Fork teachers, of our Big Fork students, and it was a lot of fun to get in there with other professionals, with other administrators from around the district, be able to look at that together and see what we were noticing and kind of compare buildings and see that continuity even between buildings. So that was really nice. We also, with semester ending, we were in our second year of career internships through Career Pathways. We ran those last year for the first time. We had a number of students go through those. This year for the first time, we're collaborating with local businesses. Mr. Ostendorf has been instrumental in that as well as through career industrial tech type classes that they're getting some college credit. They're also getting real world experience of how to apply that, what they're learning, but also some good things to put on a resume as well with that experience piece. That ended first semester, and this semester, another way we're trying to create more student opportunity, knowing that the district is not in a financial situation to be able to be adding things. We're always looking at how can we create opportunity and relevance and enrich that student learning. We started a certified nursing assistant course today in partnership with Minnesota North, Next Career Pathways, and Big Fork Valley Hospital. So we have a number of students that are going over there for block class, the last 2 periods of the day, with the Minnesota North instructor. And I got a chance to talk to 3 of the students when they came back today. They said it went really well the first day, and they're looking forward to it as well. So just that's another thing that our students were pretty spread out, and if we were offering this, or if it was being offered at Big Fork Valley, maybe in the evening, of course, as they've done before, some of our students don't have access. They don't have the capabilities to be able to get there. This is a way that we can get them high school credit, college credit, and that certification where they're more employable with local agencies, and we're kind of expanding some of that student opportunity without having to tap into other monies. We also had some teachers go after some CTE grants and be able to get some other equipment without having to do so on the district's dime. And they've been able to secure some equipment, computer, 3D printers, those kinds of things to basically enrich some of the learning that's going on within our current classes. So it's been another way that we've been trying to stretch things a little bit, but also keep a robust learning environment. Winter activities are in full swing. Boys and girls basketball, cheerleading, and robotics. We've got some good turnouts. I talked about those a little bit earlier with some of the board members as you were rolling in. But we're excited about those activities. We're excited about the higher numbers of students coming out for them. The fitness center I've talked about before here. Fitness center is a new part of the school as part of the last Big Fork construction project. And the idea there for our new board members was that this would be a partnership with the community, and community members would be able to access that as well as the school being able to take advantage of it. We've had more community members accessing that, and it's been nice to see those numbers grow a little bit. I'm anticipating it to continue to grow. So just looking at my list to make sure I'm hitting it all for you. Lastly, I'd say that our Big Fork Advisory Committee met earlier this evening. We welcomed the new board member, Tom Gustafson, as well, to sit in on that and as part of that committee. But Mr. Ostendorf gave a project update on the Edge Storage building out here. The building is up. It's been completed as far as the building part of it, but now come spring, his students will be back in there working on shelving to make sure there's adequate storage to be able to utilize the space as best possible, but also get the electrical done as well. So much more so than just the building piece of it, but some of the things to make it more usable for the Edge Committee as well. I give an update on some project-based learning and research that we've been doing. A couple of the teachers and I were fortunate enough to meet with Dr. Steiner. He's a superintendent over in North Dakota, but he's leading a district that has been doing project-based type learning with state standards embedded into those projects for about a decade now. And so it was a really great conversation, and we're in the midst of hoping to plan a site visit with some staff for later this school year, probably more closer to spring. So that's an exciting thing to think about, and how we can continue to do things here in Big Fork to benefit, again, student opportunity, learning relevance, and then also benefit the community and have students know how they're benefiting the community. That group's also working through some priorities that were set earlier in the year by them. Next on our agenda, we'll be doing some action planning and setting some goals specifically around one of the priorities, and that is to have a strong K-12 music program. We've made some real nice strides in that area from last year to this year, and the district, the board has supported us with that, and I know that you'll continue to do so any way you can, but be doing some action planning and goal setting around that as well. And then we'll take each of those other priorities, there's 5 other ones, one step at a time, and do some action planning around those. I rattled through that really quickly. I want to be efficient with your time as well, but any questions at all?
When you talked about your the cooperatives there with the students, how many students do you think are actually participating in that?
For the internship?
Yeah.
Scooter, we have 6.
6.
Yeah, 6 this year. We've got 8 that are currently attending that CNA program.
And what grades would these students be in typically? Are they seniors or can it be?
They're primarily going to be seniors. The CNA course is actually a CTE course, so that could go down as low as 10th grade. Okay. But our career internships are almost always going to be seniors because it's more of a capstone. Would we have, Stu, I'm going to put you on the spot, would we have an opportunity for a junior to take it? Or would it only be seniors?
It's all seniors.
Yeah, all seniors. And again, that's typically when we look at the career pathways, they're taking different classes that fit into that pathway, and then that internship is generally the capstone. It's that final piece of it.
Okay. And then I was going to add, I want to thank the group that got together earlier today here, the advisory group there. And I do have to say, I mean, my observation coming in and participating in a couple meetings I have, I can see where the community involvement is making big progress in what we're able to do here. The school board's been able to approve some things, and we're making progress in the music program. And I really, I gotta say thank you to the community for getting involved and active, and I think it's a good collaboration that's going on there. I'm pretty impressed myself in the couple of meetings I've been involved with, so.
Thank you. We'll make sure to pass that along as well. I think, and I think that committee came about because the community was looking for more of a voice, more of a communication between community and school board. You as the board and Superintendent Gross was instrumental in looking at that as that vehicle for that. And I think one of the things that I've noticed as well is that that go-between, that communication back and forth, I think can dispel some rumors or some people making assumptions. And it's a direct line of communication, and it has been very, I feel like, very collaborative conversation. Anything else?
Thanks, Ken.
All right.
Ken, hang on
Yeah.
a second.
Okay.
David Marty can you say a word about the distance learning? Some of your students study with students here in Grand Rapids as well. Is that correct?
That is correct, David. We have two classes currently going, and our students attend remotely with them. And one of the classes is Calc. We have a couple of students taking Calc and with Mr. Granley, and then we have a couple of students taking Spanish 2, and they did Spanish 1 remotely as well last year. But we're basically doing that because it's a smaller number. We're basically doing that through Google Meets. Spanish 2 is Google Meets. Calc, we're still using a telepresence machine for, but those are taking place and moving forward. And like I said, we're halfway through the year, and they've been doing that and finding success with it. And it is another way that we're finding partnership in this case between our two high schools in our district.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for the good report.
Thanks, David. All right,
Thanks, Ken. Next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the January 6, 25 organizational meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ashley, second.
Second.
Second by Tom. Discussion? Julie, we need a roll call vote.
All right, maybe you mix these up. So we'll start with Melissa Barr,
Yes.
David Marty,
Yes.
Tom Gustafson,
Yes.
Ashley Goodman,
Yes.
Mark Schroeder,
Yes.
and Dave Collin.
Yes.
Minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is to approve the December 2024 claims in the amount of $5,362,636.69. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dave. Second.
Second, it's Melissa.
Second by Melissa. Discussion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote, Julie?
Sure. Start with Mark Schroeder,
Yes.
Ashley Goodman,
Yes.
Tom Gustafson,
Yes.
David Marty,
Yes.
Melissa Barr,
Yes.
and Dave Collin.
Yes.
December 2024 claims are approved. Next item on the agenda is to approve a retirement. Casey?
Good evening, board. One retirement, Julia Brewster, ESP. Just want to thank Julia for 16 years of service.
Do I have a motion to approve that retirement?
So moved, David.
Moved by David, second by Ashley.
Yes.
Julie, can we have a roll?
Ashley Goodman,
Yes.
Tom Gustafson,
Yes.
David Marty,
Yes, with great appreciation to Julia.
Melissa Barr,
Yes.
Dave Collin,
Yes.
and Mark Schroeder.
Yes. Julie Brewster's retirement is approved. Thank you, Julia. Next item is the consent agenda. Reminder that there's no discussion on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Ashley. Second.
Second.
Second by Dave. There's no discussion. Julie, can we have a roll call?
Tom Gustafson,
Yes.
David Marty,
Yes.
Melissa Barr,
Yes.
Dave Cowan,
Yes.
Mark Schroeder,
Yes.
and Ashley Goodman.
Yes.
Consent agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda, approve a resolution directing administration to make recommendations for reductions in programs, positions, and reasons therefore. Superintendent Gross.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In your packet, you'll find a resolution that is customary for our school district and others at this time of year that are potentially heading into budget reductions. This is sort of the one of the things that kicks that process off, and it directs myself and other administration to start the reduction process. I'd recommend approval.
Clerk Marty, could you read the resolution?
Yes, this is the resolution directing the administration to make recommendations for reductions in programs and positions and the reasons therefore. Whereas the financial condition of the school district dictates that the school board must reduce expenditures immediately, and whereas this reduction in expenditures must include discontinuance or curtailment of positions and programs, and whereas a determination must be made as to which employees must be terminated and contracts not renewed, and which teachers must be placed on unrequested leave of absence without pay or fringe benefits in effecting discontinuance or curtailment of positions. Therefore, be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 318 as follows. That the school board hereby directs the superintendent of schools and administration to consider the discontinuance or curtailment of programs or positions to effectuate economies in the school district and to reduce expenditures in an amount needed to balance the FY26 projected budget and to make recommendations to the school board for discontinuance of programs, curtailment of programs, discontinuance of positions, or curtailment of positions.
Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So move.
Moved by Dave. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Melissa.
Second by Tom. Discussion? Hearing none.
David Marty,
Yes.
Melissa Barr,
Yes.
Dave Cowan,
Yes.
Mark Schroeder,
Yes.
Ashley Goodman.
Yes.
And Tom Gustafson.
Yes.
Resolution is approved. Next item on the agenda is to accept the first reading and approve the following policies in accordance with policy 208. Superintendent Gross.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Policy 208 provides the opportunity for the board to approve policies at their first reading, as indicated in the administrative report, when the changes are clerical or the result of legislation that presides over our policies. So both these policies fall under that. 516 as a result, the changes there are the result of legislative changes regarding the administration of medication and other changes like that, again, due to legislative acts. The second one, special education instructional services, number 608. Similarly, there's some clerical changes there as well as some legislatively mandated changes to reflect what's in statute. So I'd recommend the board approve these in one reading.
Do I have a motion to approve the policies in one reading?
So moved, David.
Moved by David,
Second.
second by Ashley. Discussion? Hearing none. Julie? Can I have a roll call?
Melissa Barr,
Yes.
Dave Cowan,
Yes.
Mark Schroeder.
Yes.
Ashley Goodman.
Yes.
Tom Gustafson,
Yes.
and David Marty.
Yes.
Policies 516 and 608 are approved. Next item on the agenda is to approve a cooperative athletic agreement with Nashwauk Kiwanis for boys and girls Nordic skiing. Athletic Director Dale Christie.
Thank you. Recently, we had a request from Nashwauk Kiwanis parent to allow their child to participate in Nordic skiing this year. It was too late for this year, but we started looking at next year, and it had to be looked at from both sides. So Nashwauk Kiwanis looked at it to decide if that was something they were interested in pursuing. I have talked with the coach, Principal Hofstad, and Superintendent Gross about the pros and cons of this. And generally, I believe it would be good for our district financially, as it would share the burden of costs. No Grand Rapids student would lose a position because of this proposition. And facilities are fine. And generally, I believe it would be a good deal for our school, and Nashwauk felt it was something they could do on their end as well. If approved, this would take effect next year. We have to get this to the high school league by tomorrow for their consideration on Thursday, as they are doing resectioning in all sports this year. So there's more timeliness than normal this year.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the cooperative agreement with Nashwauk?
This is Melissa, so moved.
Second, David.
Second by David. Discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Mr. Christie, do you have an idea of how many kids in Grand Rapids currently participate in these programs and how many are anticipated to join from Nashwauk Kiwanis based on your discussions?
Last year we had 17. This year currently we're at 14. So if this student would have participated this year, they would be paying 1/15 of the total cost of the program.
Okay, and there's just one student that's currently interested from Nashwauk Kiwanis?
One that we're aware of. If this passes, maybe that will change, but there's only one that we're aware of.
Sure, okay, thank you.
Dale, could you confirm that it would be a positive financial impact for the district? And also that no 318 students would lose the opportunity to participate?
That's correct. I believe business manager Lundin and I took a look at the dollar amounts, and we believe we would, if this person would have been here this year, we would have saved about $1,000. And because of the numbers and because of the nature of the activity, all students are allowed to participate. So it's not like a basketball team or a hockey team where a better player could come in and displace the current player. Everyone's allowed to participate at this type of activity.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
So is there is the district going to supply the fees to our district? Are there any participation fees for the student themselves?
Traditionally, we have a similar agreement with Greenway in a number of different sports. Typically, they pay their participation fee that their district has, and then at the end of the season, all expenses are figured out and then divided proportionally, and then their school district would pay us the proportion of the cost of the program.
Okay, so we separate out the participation fees is kind of what I'm hearing. It sounds like.
Correct.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, if I could, two quick things. I think this is a good indication of the partnership that we've been working on with Nashwauk Kiwanis, so I think that's good. The second thing, and Mr. Christie included it in the packet, was just some criteria and considerations for evaluating these. I think that's important that we have these in place so that we have some objectivity to the process, and I think this lays that out.
Any further discussion? Julie, can we have a roll call vote?
Dave Cowan,
Yes.
Mark Schroeder,
Yes.
Ashley Goodman. Yes. Tom Gustafson,
Yes.
David Marty,
Yes.
Melissa Barr,
Yes.
Cooperative agreement with Nashwauk is approved. Next item on the agenda is board reports. Melissa, can we start with you?
We can. I spent a couple of days at the end of last week at the Minnesota School Board Association conference, and we kicked off with a really wonderful speaker. That speaker focused on MSBA's mission around increasing the visibility of public schools and the value that teachers and school boards bring into that work. And it really is a labor of love, and just super appreciative of the keynote speaker who kicked that off. And we all went to lots of different sessions, but I will let others talk a little bit about their experience too. But that's been kind of it for me since the first of the year.
David?
Nothing to report.
Tom?
Yeah, so I also participated at the end of last week there at some of those training sessions. It was, I do have to say that getting up to speed here, we're guzzling hard here trying to get in. It's been, like I mentioned before, I feel like I'm back at school myself. But the speakers there, both the opening and closing speakers were probably some of the best speakers I've heard. You know, I've been to a lot of conferences in my career, and they both did a very good job. I would have to say one of the things that I found most interesting was in the closing speech. It was a principal who's come in and turned some schools around. One of the most interesting things that I found he talked about was that the schools needed to engage the families, not just the students. And I really found that an interesting perspective. And I think made me think a lot coming home about it, you know, as we talk about losing students and how critical that is when we look at our budgets, right? We just can't afford to lose students. So I think, you know I'm thinking a lot about that statement myself. I thought we had an excellent meeting up here in Big Fork. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm really pleased with what I see out of that advisory group that's going on here. I love to see the public get involved. That's how we keep schools viable, is keeping the people in the community active. And I think it's going in a good direction. I really do. That's all I have.
Thanks, Ashley.
Well, so I went to one of my first wellness committee meetings, and we worked on sending out, it's about a 15-minute survey that Superintendent Gross just sent out to staff on this past Friday. And it basically focuses on our staff's health and wellness, mental wellness, and how they're feeling, and to give us some feedback on what that might look like for them in their day-to-day, whether that be at work or personal life. And then just to get back to the wellness committee and let us know how they're doing, and then moving forward, how we can better work with our staff on making sure that we are, fulfilling their mental health needs if necessary, and what that looks like. So that was our wellness committee meeting. And then I also participated and attended in the MSBA workshop and convention, and like Tom said, it is a lot of information in a short amount of time that is given to us and helping us trying to catch up and learn and give us an opportunity to understand what is happening behind the scenes, if you will. So, but it was a great opportunity and a fantastic experience, and there was a handful of workshops that we went to that, you know, give us basically a leg up in what we're doing. And so I very much appreciate being able to attend that. So thank you.
Dave?
Mr. Chair, I have quite a few things. The first thing, I wasn't able to join the Wellness Committee meeting with Ashley, but I do look forward to participating in that at the next opportunity. I am working on getting up to speed on the treasurer duties and learning those processes and teams and systems. That in and of itself is another fire hose. I also attended the MSBA Leadership Conference. Like others have said, there's a wealth of information shared during the Phase 2 training, which I've remarked to a few people that if I don't know how you could do this job without some sort of structure and support like the MSBA provides. It would be daunting to try to learn that on your own. Great connection time, I think, that we had with Matt and fellow board members. I attended a negotiation foundation session on AI and data risks, an MSHSL update about 9th graders, which I think is news to a lot of people. I think that's interesting. And then also a session on the role that the school board plays in supporting American Indian students. And that was eye-opening as well. Connected with a few board members from neighboring districts. It was great to meet Barb and get to know her a little bit more from Nashwauk. Connected also with Tiffany Gustin from the MSBA, who has an incredible wealth of information about school finance, which I think is important in this role as treasurer. And we have plans to connect. She's based in Aiken, so it's easy to connect with her. Attended sessions with the two motivational speakers that others mentioned, Mickey Smith Jr. and Hamish Brewer. Their passion for education and kids and teachers was incredible. And in an effort at full transparency, I cried 3 times. I am an emotional person, I can't help it, just how I was built. But it was impactful, incredibly impactful. The conference was very valuable, even though I would say I came away with more questions than answers. I have a lot to learn. Earlier today, I attended my first Rife Arts Council meeting as a school board liaison, an introduction to the board. A couple of things to report from there. The lobby was recently painted, although it's hard to tell because it's the same color, but it's white again. They are pursuing a larger grant from the Blind Foundation in that their previous grant was rescinded. One great thing to note is that 87 kids from grades 3 through 12 are signed up for the Newsies Junior show. Performances are going to be March 21st to the 23rd, so I'd encourage board members in the community to attend because those kids are going to be working hard on that. And they are planning a spring gala fundraiser that is planned for, I believe, May 31st. Don't quote me specifically on the date, but I believe that's correct. That's all I got.
Thanks. I guess the only thing I would add, I also attended the Big Fork Advisory today, and I think we've made a lot of progress there, and look forward to setting some goals for the music program at the next session. Superintendent's report, Superintendent Gross.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the board, one of the things we've been doing as part of our Wit and Wisdom rollout, Ken mentioned getting into rooms as a group of principals and administrators. The goal there is decreasing variability, something that we've talked about a lot over the last few years, ensuring that kids have experiences that are the same or close to the same. And I'll give you a great example. I was in a 2nd grade room today, and I saw 2nd graders in Big Fork learning about the American West. And I was recently in a 2nd grade classroom at West, and they were learning about the American West. And that's really the goal, is that, knowing that kids are getting an equitable experience regardless of which one of our second grades they might be in, one at Cohasset, one here, or one at West. Parents can know they're getting exposed to that learning. Legislative session is, I can't really say full swing. Normally I would say full swing. It might be a check swing at this point. I don't know. I played baseball my whole life, and I don't know a good metaphor to turn that into. But there's a lot of work to do there as far as getting leaders back to work, and I think that needs to be something that our legislators, especially in the House here, that our expectation is that they're getting to work and getting to work quickly. Governor released his budget last week. We had a discussion about this earlier, but for our community, there's two significant things that I really think would be important to get resolved quickly. And he referenced both of those in his, and one of them is resolving the unemployment insurance gap that the legislature created in 2023. The second one is resolving the compensatory revenue gap that they created in 2023 by changing the formula. Both of those things deserve long-term solutions, whether it's changing the law or funding them. A lot of work on the budget, both individually with Kara, Lundeen, and then with the board. A lot of work around an investigation into artificial intelligence. Dave, you mentioned a session on that. There's zero question that it is affecting education right now. There's zero question whether it's going to affect education in the future. And so we have work to do both at the kind of administrative or adult level, but also what does that mean to a teenager or younger growing up in an environment with that, and how do we make learning relevant, ensure learning is relevant and as future-proof as we can, or future kind of leading as we can. Our second cycle of early outs is going, and for our new board members, we have a schedule of Wednesdays, and over time, this hasn't been the case in every district, but our district has worked really, really hard to squeeze as much as we can out of those dates. And it's not perfect, and we still have work to do there, and we're learning through feedback that we're getting from staff. But every Wednesday is scheduled for the rest of the year, and every Wednesday is in alignment with the strategic direction. So they might be working on data one week that's aligned with our strategic directions. They might be working on crisis or safety planning that's aligned with our strategic directions. So that's something, I can show you that document at some point. It's pretty extensive. Let's see. The other thing relative to our literacy rollout, and we talked about it briefly at our Big Fork Advisory Committee, but Carol Cobb, who's been helping with that, and Ken mentioned her, but she's planning evening events in our communities for parents to come and learn more about what's happening with wisdom, what it looks like, and so I'm excited about those. The one in Big Fork is scheduled for February 18th, and we have scheduled in other schools as well. And if you're curious about that schedule, Julie or I can get that to you. Had a chance, like a number of you, to attend MSBA. Thought it was very valuable again, spending time learning together. Had an opportunity to present on Thursday, and that was very interesting as well, just to share some of our experience from grade teen through budget the last few years. There's a lot of districts that are on the very front end of this. They're answering questions like, I think we might have to cut the budget this spring, and what does that look like? So it was a good opportunity to work with the finance director from the Department of Ed. Attended a couple sessions on absenteeism, on community perception and referendums as well. So really valuable time, always good to invest in learning. And Ashley mentioned that survey. We're gonna run that for about a week and then bring that back to the Wellness Committee. So Dave, you'll be able to get a look at that at your next meeting. Perfect. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Upcoming school board committee meeting dates are posted on each agenda. School board meeting agendas can be found on the district website and on the designated posting site at ISD 318 Educational Services. Is there any other business to come before the board? Julie, has anyone signed up for public input?
Not here. Casey, has anyone signed up in the boardroom?
No.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, Mark.